splurge today, and this is a boneless chicken place. It's a place that opened in Helsinki, I think in 2017 that I saw. And yeah, we're gonna give it a try.
Olá pessoal, sejam bem-vindos ao meu canal. Meu nome é Natália, mas você pode me chamar de Nath. Eu adoro reagir e aprender sobre outros países, especialmente aqueles bem diferentes do meu em termos culturais e econômicos. Então, se você gosta desse tipo de conteúdo, fique à vontade para se inscrever. Vou adorar ter você por aqui. Bom, nesse vídeo eu vou reagir a custo de vida na Finlândia de uma família de 4 pessoas. Então é isso, sem mais delongas, e vamos para a reação.
In this video, I'm going to take you along with us as a family of 4 living in Finland, and I will be documenting how much we spend in a week. Hey there, if we've never met before, my name is Shirley, and I live in Finland with my husband and our 2 small children. I'm parked in front of a little store, and we're gonna run in and grab some groceries. So we start off with bringing in our bottles for recycling. Here you get the money back for the deposit you paid for when you first purchased the drinks. Little is where we get the bulk of our groceries for the week, and Korean pies and croissants from here are a weekly staple. They don't have too large a selection of fresh fruits and veggies, yet we usually do fine without having to go elsewhere for them. I often also wander into the middle aisles and find random things. For example, today I also got sleeping bags so we can go camping this summer. Now we are at stop number 2. At our previous location at Little, we spent a total of 192 euros and 24 cents. I forgot to mention that all prices that you see throughout supermarkets and stores all have the taxes already included in the price tag. So when I put some of the prices on the screen for you, that's with tax included already. All right, so now we are at the parking lot of S Market. We're going to run in and grab a few things that we cannot find at Little stores. And before I go in, I just have to make sure I set my parking disc. This particular parking spot here is for 2 hours. It is now 7:08 p.m. or 19:08 because they run on the 24-hour clock here. If it's 7:08, we want to set it to 7:30 or 19:30. You set it to the next half an hour mark. And this is just like a little disc that you spin. And you just go ahead and display this on your windshield. All right, let's go in and grab a couple things. At S Market, we usually get the fresh squeezed orange juice. The price here includes the 20-cent bottle deposit. I also picked up some rye bread and a snack that my son likes. Our go-to yogurt is this cloudberry yogurt, as well as Greek yogurts by Valio. My husband likes this rhubarb one in particular. I also grabbed a bottle of vanilla extract. I find most of my recipes on Pinterest still. Here in Finland, using vanilla sugar is maybe more common than vanilla extract. And then I also found these edible diamonds that we'll use in a baking project soon. My son has been fascinated with jewels and gems lately, so I think he's really gonna like these. And then on my way out, I also picked up a bottle of children's vitamins. All right, at S Market, we just spent a total of 49.15 euros. It's a little bit more than anticipated because I did get that bottle of vitamins, so...
Peraí, vocês têm vitaminas até mesmo no mercado? Tipo, aquelas vitaminas que geralmente vende em farmácia, vocês vendem no mercado também, é isso? Incrível! Aqui no Brasil eu nunca vi isso. No mercado onde eu vou, nós temos uma grande área, assim, que tem várias coisas, praça de alimentação e farmácia. Mas no mercado vendendo essas coisas, nunca vi. Isso é muito prático.
Spent a little over 250 for day 1. Okay, day 2. For breakfast, I had 2 Karelian pies warmed up in the toaster. These have a rice porridge filling with a rye flour wrap.
Gente, eu quero muito comer
The traditional way to eat it is with egg butter, in which you just mix butter with a hard-boiled egg. But I just treat it like a piece of toast and top it off with some cheese and salami. My son had a special spring performance at his daycare this morning, so my husband and my mother-in-law went, and he ended up getting breakfast. I will put the price up here. He said 2 Karelian pies, a donut, coffee, and a smoothie. Now we are headed to a new restaurant in Turku called Boneless. So it's actually our wedding anniversary today, but because we went to a really fancy place for Mother's Day, we've decided to not splurge today. And this is a boneless chicken place. It's a place that opened in Helsinki, I think in 2017 that I saw. And yeah, we're gonna give it a try.
Wow!
All right.
Gente, agora uma dúvida, foi gasto 39 € aqui. Será se foi para ela com o marido e mais os filhos ou foi só para ela e o marido? Eu não entendi isso direito. Mas de qualquer forma, eu achei um lugar incrível. Pelo que eu entendi, eles estão querendo economizar porque gastaram em outra ocasião. Mas assim, esse lugar aqui no Brasil é super, super descolado. Tipo, as pessoas que vão frequentar num lugar desses é só quem tem dinheiro, sabe? Se fosse aqui no Brasil, seria assim.
So how would you rate the burger you just had?
7.5.
7.5 out of 10. The chicken I had was tender. The first bite was good, but then the sauce started to be too overbearing. It was too salty, too much sauce, and I'm a person that likes sauce, so that says a lot. So I ended up taking half of it. I'm probably gonna make some rice tomorrow. Very limited drink options. Otherwise, it's a nice addition to Turku.
É muito lindo. Oh, vocês dão uma amostra.
Okay, I just got some ice cream at Marcus Square. The kids went to daycare today, so they ate for free. They
Gente, é
had
muito
breakfast,
fofo. Meu
lunch, and a
Deus,
snack.
olha o
Now
lugar
they're
em
at the
volta.
in-laws having dinner. We're probably gonna go get them soon. Okay, my husband ordered an AC unit from this store called Virgo Kaupa, and he describes this as almost like a Amazon. We don't have Amazon here, so this store carries like a little bit of everything. And in order to not pay the shipping fee, which would have been 80 something, 85 did you say? 79, we came to the store. But then at the same time, we found a whole bunch of stuff that we wanted to get.
Essa
So
loja
we
é
ended up
enorme.
paying more than 1,000 euros because we got a drone. So excited. On our way back to the car, we also stopped by the pharmacy to pick up some vitamins and some eye drops, and what else did we get from there? Some caffeine pills. So the total for day 2, back to the car, we also stopped by the pharmacy.
Uau, a farmácia de vocês é muito clear. É muito diferente, tipo, ela é muito realmente minimalista, né? Eu achei muito organizado.
Pharmacy to pick up some vitamins and some eye drops, and what else did we get from there? Some caffeine pills. So the total for day 2 is now here. I didn't count the AC unit because he paid for that 2 weeks ago, so day 2. Day 3, Thursday. We
Gente, aproveitando que ela falou de farmácia, agora eu vou perguntar uma coisa. Aí no país de vocês, né, na Finlândia, vocês podem comprar medicamentos sem receita? Porque, por exemplo, aqui no Brasil, a gente tem uma grande disponibilidade de remédio que a gente pode comprar sem receita, sabe? Mas eu sei que outros países, muitas vezes pode ser um pouco complicado. Então, me deixe saber nos comentários, porque eu fiquei em dúvida sobre isso.
started the day off with some pancakes in the morning. I tried to sneak in an overripened banana into the batter, but my son saw it and decided that he didn't want to have any. So he just had some peanut butter with bread on top instead of the pancakes, and we had a lot of leftovers. In the afternoon, we went out to our playground and hung out with some neighborhood kids, and we also took out our new toddler bike for a spin. For dinner, everyone had a little something different. The kids had gyoza with edamame beans on the side. My husband worked late last night and had breakfast for dinner, and I warmed up my chicken leftovers from yesterday and had it with rice and sauteed cabbage on the side. Total spend for the day was 0.
Caramba, na Finlândia tem todo
In the
tipo de
morning,
comida.
we all had oatmeal porridge for
Fantástico.
breakfast. My son's had peanut butter on it. My daughter doesn't really like peanut butter, so we just left hers plain with milk. And for ours, we mixed in some muesli on top. Friday is video day in our household, and we watched the movie Mulan together. And of course, we had to make popcorn for the kids. Uki, which means grandpa in Finnish, needed to make a trip out to the boat today and asked if we wanted to come along, and of course we said yes. We didn't sail out anywhere, but instead just hung out at the pier. The kids had a lot of fun throwing rocks into the water. Uki attempted to fish, but we had no luck. We also climbed aboard the boat and had some snacks on board. Uki brought meat pies, which is a fried pastry with meat and rice filling inside, so it's really a savory pastry. He'd also brought Karelian pie, some coffee, and juice for the kids, and my daughter had a jar of baby food with meat and rice filling inside. Said to fish, but we had no luck. We also climbed aboard the boat and had some snacks on board. Uki brought meat pies, which is a fried pastry with meat and rice filling inside, so it's really a savory pastry.
Peraí, eu entendi direito. Ela disse que esse salgado que ela mostrou tem recheio de arroz, é isso mesmo? Porque aquele outro bolinho tradicional de vocês eu sei que é com arroz, mas esse outro também é? Porque se for, é incrível. Vocês têm mais coisas de arroz? Porque assim, no Brasil, o brasileiro gosta muito de arroz, sabe? O brasileiro não come sem arroz. Macarrão com arroz, lasanha com arroz, tipo, brasileiro é doido por arroz. Mas a gente nunca foi longe assim, sabe? Tipo, fazer salgados e coisas assim. Realmente, vocês são muito originais nisso.
He also brought Karelian pie, some coffee, and juice for the kids. And my daughter had a jar of baby food because she didn't like anything that Uki had brought. Back at home, we had Uki over for dinner. Mumi, which means grandma in Finnish, was out of town and had left Uki some coleslaw at home. So he brought that over as a side dish to the burgers that we had for dinner. My husband felt like he was getting an ear infection, so he went to the pharmacy to pick up some spray, which cost 19 euros. And then we also purchased some tickets for a forest herb foraging course, which totaled 80 euros. And that brought today's spend to 99 euros total. All right, day 5. Breakfast was a mishmash of things today, really. My son wanted to have his leftover burger from last night for breakfast. My daughter had a yogurt and also some leftovers. She really likes to eat plain rice on its own, so we gave her that, and also potato wedges that we had left over yesterday. My husband ended up having a meat pie that we had brought over from the boat. And for myself, I warmed up some leftover pancakes from Thursday and topped it off with some frozen forest blueberries that were picked last summer. Hello, it's day 5, and this morning our son said that he wanted to visit a farm. So last summer we visited. As you can see, we're at the farm now. So this is almost like a petting zoo, kind of. The rabbits and the chickens are behind cages, but there's lambs and horses out in the open. So we're gonna have a picnic a little bit later and just enjoy a family day out.
Meu Deus, é perfeito.
It's really fascinating to me that most outdoor places like this will have grills for people to use, and you're expected to bring your own sausages and things to grill with you. So towards the end of our visit, we took a small break and had a picnic with some sausages and grilled corn with a side salad that we had brought from home, as well as some watermelon. This farm trip was really a hit for the kids, and we stayed all the way until they closed, and our kids didn't want to leave then, but we just had to because they were closing. The total for this farm trip cost 32 euros for the whole family. Usage for the grill was supposed to be 2 euros, but the lady didn't have it on the payment app for some reason, so she didn't end up charging us for that.
Gente, é muito barato.
And on our way back home, we stopped at City Market to refill our SodaStream CO2 cylinder, which cost 7.99 euros. And then for dinner, we just whipped up an avocado pasta. So total for day 5 came out to 40 euros. Sunday was another pancake day for brunch, and I made sure not to sneak in any bananas this time. The kids also had some apple slices while they listened to music. My husband made a quick trip to the store and picked up some groceries, which totaled 50 euros and 70 cents. We had baked salmon with rice and a side salad for an early dinner. In the late afternoon, we went to visit a friend's house, and the kids had fun playing with water in the garden. When we got back, we had some toast with brie and leftover side salad. My husband also had half of a squeaky cheese, or the actual name of it is called bread cheese. He added it with cloudberry jam on top. We call it squeaky cheese because the cheese is very chewy, and as you're chewing it, it makes a squeaky sound against your teeth. So that's the nickname that we have for it. And our kids have some more rice with salmon as a late snack. Total spend for today was 50 euros and 70 cents. All right, now on to day 7. The kids requested waffles for brunch today. They also had a fruit salad as a snack. My husband and I had a mango yogurt with chia seeds, topped with fresh mangoes and shredded coconut. This is shredded coconut for baking, and it's a little more coarse than we usually like it. We typically use this Thai brand of shredded coconut, but we had ran out of it, so we're just trying to use up this baking coconut for now. In the afternoon, we started our volcano project and the kids helped with mixing the salt dough for building the volcano. We placed a small soda bottle in the middle so that we can do this experiment over and over again. While the volcano sat out to dry, we headed out to a playground and spent some time outside. We also found the amount of construction soil and the kids had a lot of fun climbing on it and sliding down.
Isso.
For dinner that night, we had bear-shaped pasta with meatballs because we had ran out of spaghetti. My husband also had the other half of the bread cheese or squeaky cheese as dessert, and I had some leftover frozen custard with cloudberries that my mother-in-law had made. So total spend for today was 0. Okay, so after tracking our weekly spending, this is what we came out to for the past 7 days. On day 1, we totaled €241.39. Day 2, €228.76. Day 3 was 0. Day 4 was €99. Day 5 was 40. Day 6, 50.7, and then day 7 also a 0. Now, as you can see, I didn't do a full breakdown of each meal that we had while we cooked at home because it's a little bit too much for me to handle right now. So I just tracked all the spending that went onto our debit card. Our total for the past week spent on our debit card came out to €659.85. I am also going to convert it to US dollars. Now, keep in mind that the exchange rate does change almost daily. So as of the filming of this video, €1 is currently sitting at $116. So this conversion can vary a lot depending on when you're watching the video, but as of the making of this video, our past week spending was $764.12. Now let's also talk about our fixed costs for the week. Our family of 4 lives in a 120 square meter row house. That translates to about 1,290 square feet. Keep in mind that my husband and I both work from home, so we have to account for our home office space as well. And that's why the space that we live in is a little bit larger than I would say a typical Finnish family. The rent that we pay for this row house is €1,387. That translates to about €346.75 weekly. Now we also have to pay off a loan every month to the bank, even though we are renting this place. And the reason for that is because we live in a type of housing in Finland that's called right of occupancy. I have a video which I will link here, which talks a little bit more about this. Towards the end of that video, I talk a little bit more about what right of occupancy living is like in Finland, so you can go check that out. But we basically have to pay a down payment in order to live in a row house, but we don't own it, and we still pay a monthly rent. So that's why I just gave you our monthly and weekly cost to live here. So the loan that we took out from the bank, we have to pay €339 a month, which equals to $84.75 weekly. Now let's talk about our utilities. For electricity, we pay about $130 per month, which equals to $32.50 weekly. For water, we pay $120 a month, which is a little more than what I thought we would pay. They charge us an €80 monthly baseline for the water usage, but according to our meter reading recently, we actually have to pay a little bit more because we use more water than, I guess, normal people. So I have to figure out why that is. Maybe we have to start using that free laundry machine that we have here in the housing complex. But yes, our spending for the month for water is €120, which equals to 30 weekly. Our internet costs only €35 a month, which is $8.75 weekly. And then our cell phone is about €70 per month, which equals to $70.50 per week. Now we also have home insurance, which is about €50 per month. That means it's $12.50 weekly. We also have a car that runs on diesel, and this car holds about 70 liters or 18.5 gallons for every fill up. And we usually fill up our gas tank every 2 weeks or so, depending on where we go and stuff like that, obviously. So we usually pay about €200 per month for diesel, which equals to €50 per week. Now, luckily for us, our car is part of my father-in-law's car insurance policy, and so is my sister-in-law's car, even though they live in Helsinki and we live in Turku. My father-in-law pays for everybody's car insurance and everybody's car maintenance. We don't really have to pay that out of pocket, and so I'm not going to be calculating any of the maintenance fees associated with having a car because thankfully my father-in-law pays that for us and also for my sister-in-law's family too. All right, so in terms of our fixed costs, our weekly total comes to €582.75. At the current exchange rate, that equals to $675.74. Now for the grand total for the week, which includes the fixed cost as well as what we charge on the debit card for the last 7 days, comes out to 1,242 euros and 60 cents. And in US dollars, as of the making of this video, that equals to 1,440 and 88 cents. If you're new to this channel, you might not know that our family of 4 moved from the US to Finland about 1.5 years ago. And part of the reason why was because of the high cost of living in the US. So I was curious and I took a look at our numbers from the US and also our numbers in Finland, and I found something quite interesting. Since we're talking about just our fixed costs here, I didn't take into account what we spend on groceries and stuff like that. So living in Finland currently, the fixed costs for our monthly expenses are 2,331 euros, which equals to about 2,702. And I took a look at what our US monthly expenses were back when we lived in the US, and that was a whopping 5,848 euros per month, or $6,782, which means that we spend less than half of what we used to pay back in the US. Back in the US, we lived in the state of New York, and we lived about an hour and a half away from Manhattan. And at the time, we had a house that was 2,500 square feet or 232 square meters. We had a mortgage to pay. Actually, let me pull up the list because it was quite long. It was astounding to me when I ran the numbers and realized how expensive it was to live in New York. So the 5,848 euros or $6,682, which included our mortgage, which also included property taxes. It included a loan that we took out to...
Mas isso é muito curioso, porque muitas pessoas falam que nos Estados Unidos o custo de vida pode ser mais barato em relação à Europa, né? Só que, assim, nitidamente aqui na experiência, na vivência dela, a gente vê uma diferença realmente enorme de preço. Eu não vou mentir que o valor da Finlândia, assim, comparado a outros países que eu já vi, né? Não estou falando também dos países nórdicos, mas outros países, por exemplo, Península Ibérica e tudo mais, pode ser um pouco mais barato. Talvez, né? Mas eu não vou mentir que eu já vi, né? Os valores por esses outros países, eu gosto de ver valores. E aí eu fico curiosa sobre isso e acabo pesquisando e tudo mais. Mas eu achei o custo de vida nos países nórdicos mais barato, sabe? Ainda mais considerando que, assim, a gente tá falando da Finlândia. É um país com qualidade de vida inquestionável. Então, se você gasta um pouco mais com isso, acaba que você tem um retorno maior. Mas aqui, pelo que ela tá mostrando, em relação aos Estados Unidos, é completamente diferente, né? Tipo, eu tô chocada. Realmente é engraçado como as pessoas falam que nos Estados Unidos a vida pode não ser tão cara, mas acaba que é muito diferente, né, na prática.
Replace our AC system, and it includes a car loan, includes daycare, includes solar panels that we had that were leased, so we had to pay a monthly fee. It included electricity, internet, water, heating oil that we had to fill up our tank with because our house at the time it was heated with heating oil, and that actually ran up quite a lot of money depending on how much oil prices were at the time. It also includes car insurance, garbage fees, gas, and phone bills, I believe. Oh, and wow. I didn't include our health insurance in this list because it was deducted from my paycheck automatically, so I just didn't really calculate it in here. But it would have been a little bit more. In terms of daycare here in Finland, we actually don't pay anything. A couple months ago, we were paying something like 45 euros a month or something, and then they sent us a notice saying that your childcare cost is now free, so you don't have to pay anything. So that's why I didn't include that in our fixed cost. In the US, childcare alone was more than $2,000 a month for us. So I've made a couple videos about why we moved to Finland, and I will link it here or here and down below as well so you can check it out. But I kind of go into detail about what kind of forced us to move out of the US. Part of that was because we wanted to spend more time with our family. My husband's family is here in Turku. I did not have any close family or relatives in New York where we lived back in the US, and we thought that it was important for our kids to grow up with family around. So that was one reason why we moved. And the other reason, of course, is because we simply could not afford our lifestyle in New York. You can argue that we could have moved to a different state with lower income taxes and lower property taxes, etc. But that would have meant that we had to pack up our entire lives and change everything, basically change our house, change our jobs, and also find new friends at this new place that we would move to. So moving to Finland was the most logical choice for us. Looking at both our weekly and our monthly expenses here in Finland, I am just so happy that we decided to relocate to Finland. A lot of people living in Finland can argue that you pay an exorbitant amount of taxes for everything that you get here, but I am just talking to you from an American's perspective and sharing what we paid for in the US versus what we pay in Finland. Of course, there's no perfect country. The US is not perfect, Finland is not perfect, but for us as a family of 4, living in Finland has been such a game changer, and we are really, really much happier here in Finland. So the choices are in a country like Finland where you pay higher taxes, but things like subsidized daycare and universal health insurance and the pension system really helps set you up for a pretty nice lifestyle here in Finland versus the US, where you might be getting paid a little bit more, but you do have to pay for a lot of things out of pocket, such as healthcare, daycare, and just looking at us living in New York State, the cost of living was extremely high. So I hope this video gave you a good insight into what a family of 4 spends in Finland, living in Turku specifically. We don't live on a shoestring budget, as you can probably tell from this video, but we also don't splurge too much. I would say we're like an average family, at least in my mind, but maybe our friends in Finland, you can tell me otherwise in the comments below. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. I do have a Buy Me Coffee account, which means that you can buy creators like me and also different artists and stuff like that. A cup of coffee is what they call it. I will leave the link for that below if you would like to support this channel. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and share with a friend, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Moi moi!
Gente, realmente eu fico muito chocada, porque, assim, por mais assim que o valor seja alto, né? Eu não sei qual é o valor do salário na Finlândia. Se vocês puderem me deixar uma média aqui nos comentários, eu agradeço. Mas se fosse aqui no Brasil, né? Vou falar da minha realidade aqui, onde eu vivo. Se fosse, assim, o estilo de vida aqui que ela mostrou e tudo mais, não dá. Entendeu? Tipo, literalmente não dá. Eu não sei se ela é uma pessoa que ganha muito com o esposo dela e tudo mais, mas o estilo de vida deles aqui 2 filhos, morando numa casa geminada e tudo mais. Literalmente seria impossível você fazer isso sendo uma pessoa de classe média, sabe? Tipo, você precisa realmente ganhar muito, muito bem para isso. O salário mínimo aqui no Brasil custa 1.600, né? E, tipo, para fazer tudo isso que ela listou, acho que uma pessoa precisaria ganhar pelo menos, tá? Cada um, né? Tanto os 2 pais precisariam ganhar pelo menos uns 5 mil reais cada. E eu não tô exagerando, é pura verdade, porque tem a questão também de escola e tudo mais. As escolas aqui públicas são muito precarizadas, então já exige que você coloque seu filho numa boa escola. A questão também de saúde pública, aqui a gente tem o SUS, mas eles atendem muito bem. Eles atendem muito bem situação de emergência, mas quando se trata assim, de acompanhamento contínuo, a experiência não é muito boa, sabe? Eu conheço pessoas que foram acompanhadas e tudo mais e não tiveram boa experiência. Então, assim, eu acho que tá um valor realmente considerável. Embora à primeira vista me assuste um pouco, né? Mas eu acho que realmente tá super acessível, porque a gente não pode esquecer também que estamos falando da Finlândia, né? Um país, assim, com um alto índice de qualidade de vida, um país com baixa criminalidade. Então, assim, tudo isso corrobora para que seja um valor muito, muito justo, né? Tem a questão dos impostos também, mas tudo é muito bem retornado. Então, eu acho que é acessível, eu acho que está bem considerável. Me deixe saber sua opinião nos comentários. Mas bom, essa foi a minha reação, eu espero que você tenha gostado desse vídeo. Se você gostou, considere se inscrever, vou adorar ter você por aqui. E se você já for inscrito, não esquece de ativar as notificações. Então é isso, obrigada por assistir esse vídeo, nos vemos na próxima reação. Tchau!